Hello again, it's Jolynn Potter from Scrapbook Customs. It's kind of rainy and gloomy here today, so I thought it might be a good day for me to make a project using this spring Easter pack that we offer. It has 12 pieces of double-sided cardstock, 6 each of two different styles, 6 pieces each. On one side there's bright Easter colors, and on the opposite side there's some fun Easter prints. I've been looking for a project to do to give to my friends for Easter. Most of them are on diets, or so I thought I would try and come up with something that they could put on their desk and brighten up their day. And I had seen this project on the internet and floating around a little bit. But there is a YouTuber that I subscribe to, May, and I think her channel's called May Made It, and you can too. And I saw her do a little tissue holder box, and I absolutely loved it. And I thought it would be really cute with this Easter print, because I thought the top die cut looked like an Easter egg. So, and it's a little simple project that's pretty simple to do. You can make a few in a little while and have your Easter gifts all done. So without further ado, let's get started, and I'll show you how I made this little box. I am going to give you the measurements, but at the end of the video we will give you written directions, and I will give you written measurements so that you can it's easier for you to remember. The first piece is this box, is the box part of the tissue box. And it's 4 1/4 by 11, which is a half of a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. That's the first piece, it's the box. The second piece we're gonna work with is the insert, and that's this part right here that opens up so that the tissues stay in, and that is the insert part. For time's sake, I've already scored these pieces, but I will give you the directions as we fold them. So what I did is I scored it. The first score is at a 1/2 inch. We're gonna fold that over, and we're gonna use our bone folder to get a nice tight fold. The second score was at 3 inches. The third at 4 inches, and the fourth at 6.5 inches. That will give you the base of the box. So when you fold it over like this, you can see that makes your box. And I recommend that you do fold it over like this so that you can see where you want to put your tape and your matting. The tape obviously is going to go on this little flap, and the matting will go here, here, and here. So let's go ahead and put some score tape on our flap, and we'll have it on there for when we need it, if I can find the end of my score tape. So we'll just put a little piece of score tape right here on that flap. Rub it down good so it stays good. And again, I keep checking because there's been so many times that I've glued these together and had the mats on the wrong side. So I'm checking, so I want to make sure I do my mat here, here, and here. And I'm going to put my little green piece right here, and I've pre-cut my mats. The top side, which is the side that goes here. Let me get my measurements out here so I don't tell you the wrong thing. The top piece that goes right here is 4 by 3 1/4, and the pieces that go here and here are 2 1/4 by 4. And then this little piece that goes right here on the front, where you can either stamp just a cute stamp or a sentiment if you want to, is 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. So I've pre-cut those so they're ready to go. And And then I want to glue it down. The green, I want to glue it down here so that because I have to die cut this opening. On May's video, she had a punch that she just fit right up in there and punched it, but I don't have that punch. And so I'm going to have to die cut that piece out. So what I want to do is glue my green on first and then die cut through both pieces. And like I say, just to save time, I have done that. So here we are with this piece. It's got the tape here, it's got the first matting piece, and I have die cut through both pieces. This particular oval that I used was 2 inches by 1 1/4 inch, and I centered it and just ran it through my die cut machine so that I now have the top part of my little box ready to go. And I just think that looks like an Easter egg on grass. I think it's cute. So then we want to make sure we glue the rest of our, move that out of the way, the rest of our matting pieces on, and then we'll tape it together. For this little piece, I'm going to use some art glitter adhesive, and I've got a little, so I can keep my little tip in there, I put a little dressmaker's pin in the top of my glue so that I don't lose this tip and take it off. So I have a little dressmaker's pin in there. So I'm just going to take the glue and I'm going to put the glue on it. And I put my pin back in my glue so I don't lose my pin and my glue doesn't dry up. Oops, a little nervous. And then we're going to glue this piece down in place. We're going to take the purple piece next, and I will use my tape runner for this because it's not a small piece. And I'm going to put it right here. So now we have the whole box section of this box matted and folded. So that was pretty simple. So we just have this top piece left. If you noticed on this box that I made previously, I did have the back covered. And all I did was cut a piece. I'm not going to give you this measurements, but I just measured it. That was 4.5 by 4 1/4, so I want to make this 4 1/4 by 4, and then I just cut that and matted the back side. I just think it finishes it. So now we have our box made. Now we want to do this top part. And on May's video, she used a little corner rounder, but I thought for Easter it might be kind of fun to do a little bit more decorative edge. And so I have this old punch that I've had forever. I think it's an all-night media punch. And I thought it might be fun to do a little bit more decorative punch. So we'll just punch both corners out. Okay, so that's fun. But whatever we do to this, we want to also do to this. And so I want to also corner punch the matting that goes on the top. So that will work well. That's a cute little corner. But for my Easter bunny, on the box I have a little Easter bunny and a little saying, but I wanted to add some little grass to this Easter bunny. And I also had another punch, an old punch that I had that was a grass die, and this is an all-night media punch that I've had forever, but it works wonderful still. And if you don't have this punch, you can use any grass die cut or punch to put on the bottom. I just wanted to add a little piece of grass. But when I glued it on this one, you can't see it very well. It kind of blends in with the colors on the box. And so what I wanted to do was just add a little highlight to this grass so that I could see the grass a little better when you're looking at the box. So I'm using the bundled sage, and I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight to the top of this grass before I glue it on. just so it stands up a little bit. Just so it stands up a little bit, and gives it a little bit of highlight for the project. You don't have to add much, just a little bit, just so it doesn't blend in so much with the regular cardstock. Again, I'm going to use the glitter glue on the back side of these. And actually what I think I'll do is I'm just going to put it, because I don't care if the grass sticks up a little bit. The edges, it'll look a little more dimensional. So I'm just going to put the glue right on the matte piece itself. And then I'll stick these down. And obviously 3 of them are too long, so I'll just cut off the excess. And now you have some grass at the bottom of that matting piece when we go to glue that on. So again, I want to fold it up and make sure I'm gluing it onto the right side. So we want that right here. So I'm going to put a little ATG on it. Center it. I probably should have used another color besides a white background sheet so that you can see this better. But now you can see that is glued on. So our box is all ready to go. So in order to finish the box, what we'll do is we'll pull off our tape. We'll fold it into shape. And, you know, I looked from one side. It's a little hard to do. I looked till I got the box shape on one side, and then the other side. That looks pretty good. Then I just took my bone folder and went up inside of the box and smoothed it down with the bone folder. And that's our box. It's that simple. I'm going to make the insert piece next, and then we'll do the little bunny. Smooth the stuff out of the way, and wherever I threw my insert piece, here it is. Let's set the little box aside. So this is the insert piece. This is the one that goes up inside of the tissue box. So the first fold, the first score that I did was at 1/2 inch. The second, 1.5 inches. The third at 5 3/4 inches. And the fourth at 6 3/4 inches. So it makes a little insert that goes inside of your box. I also wanted to take and round these corners a little bit so they fold up into the box easier. So I'm going to take the same punch that I used on the box, and I'm going to round the corners off. Sorry. So now we have it all scored, folded, and our edges are rounded. So we're going to slide it in and make sure it fits good. And that looks like it's going to fit nice. So what I did then next was I put a little bit of ATG on the bottom, just one swipe. Okay. Slid it in. Made sure it's where I wanted it to be. That looks pretty good. And then again, I use my bowl folder to go in and kind of make sure that that's all stuck down good. So now you can close that off and keep your tissues in. But I really wanted to just have one side open, so I put a little bit of glue on that flap, and I just stuck it down. Then you just reach inside and make sure that's glued down. So now you only have one side that the Kleenexes will come in and out of. That's our completed box. It's super cute, super easy to do. And I am going to do a little bit of tutorial on how I colored that Easter bunny. And I'm going to get that set up and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. For time's sake, I've gone ahead and I've stamped the stamps that I'm going to use. This is the Easter Bunny stamp, and this is the Somebody Loves You stamp. And I made a mistake. I have to clarify. Before you glue your box together, you need to stamp this little piece with whatever stamp that you're going to stamp. So through time-lapse photography, I've gone back and I've repaired my mistake, and I've added this little Art Deco stamp. I think it's so cute. Actually, it was a free sample given to me at CHA a couple of years ago by Clear Stamps, and it just looked like an Easter egg to me, so I just stamped that cute little stamp there. You can put a sentiment or a saying or anything that you want on there to add to your box, but I just like that, that cute little Art Deco piece. And so now that we have that stamped, then I'm just going to quickly show you how I colored this. I'm going to make a disclosure. I'm self-taught. I'm a wannabe artist. I love the look of this coloring, and I just made it simple the way I could do it. I'm self-taught. So I'm going to use Spectrum Noir markers. They're a nice marker for me because I'm just starting to color, and they're inexpensive and they blend well, and so they work well for me. So the colors that I chose for the little ears were PP2, PP3, and PP1. This one's well used, and so the color is worn off of it, but this is the PP1. So what I'm going to do is I just want a little bit of color in those ears, and so I started with PP2. And I just wanted some shading here by the fur on his head. So I started out with the PP2 and I just added a little bit of dark color. Then I took my PP1 and I blended the edges out a little bit so there was no harsh edges. But since I wanted to keep the majority of the ear white, I then took my blender pen. I'm taking my blender pen and I'm softening those edges and making it blend into that white. I'm liking that, but I think it needs to be a little darker, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that again. I'm going to add a little bit of the 2. I'm going to blend it out with the 1. And then I'm going to soften the edges a little bit with my blender pen. Because I want it to be white with just a hint of color on the ends. I'm liking that pretty good. So, but I think I want to go in and add just a tiny bit darker right in that, right up next to that fur. That's pretty good. I like that. But I did want a little hint of color in the body. So for the color, I used a gray. I used IG2 and IG1. So first I'm going to start with the shadow, and I know there's going to be a little shadow right here where his feet come up. So I'm going to start putting a little bit of the IG2 in there. Just where I just start putting a little color in. Then I'm going to soften it up with the IG1 and get rid of those harsh edges. And then I'm going to blend it out with my blender pen because I want the bunny to stay white. I just want a hint of color. I'm going to use my big side for this. I just want a hint of color on him. Okay. There's also going to be some shadowing up here under the fur on his face. So I'm going to add that shadowing in with the 2. Soften it with the 1. And blend it with the blender pen. I feel like it needs just a tiny bit more up through here, so I'm going to go in with the darker color and I'm going to add a little bit. Go in with the 2 and soften it. And then use my blender pen and you can do this till you get it where you like it, you know, where you like how it looks. And when I'm stamping, I stamp multiple images so that because I always mess them up, and so I want to kind of get where I you know, I want multiple images to use to practice on. So that's looking pretty good, but I still want to do his feet, so we're going to hurry and do maybe highlight it down here by where he would be standing in the grass with the 2. Soften it with the 1. And then use the blender pen to keep that nice and white at the top. And maybe go back in and add a little bit more dark on the bottom. So that looks pretty good. So when you get it where you want it, then stop. It's always easy to start. It's better to start light and go darker, but because once you go dark, you cannot go lighter. For the heart, I used the 3, and I just colored it in with the 3, and I colored the nose in with the 3. I took the 5, PP5, and I added a little highlight to this side of his nose and to this side of the heart. And you can even add a white highlight if you want to that. But when it was done, I thought it needed maybe something else. So I decided that I would add a little, if I can find my pink 1. I thought it needed a little bit of highlight right here in his cheek. So I just took my 1 and I made a little soft circle right by his whiskers to give it a little more color to his face. And then I took the blender pen and just softened it up. Took a little color out of that pink so that it was nice and soft. So that's how simple it was to color the little bunny. I left this Somebody Loves You white because I wanted it to be a nice contrast and stick out really well on the back side of that box. So I just stamped it and left it white. I am going to fussy cut this bunny out now, and I don't want you to watch me fussy cut it out. This particular stamp's an old one and it does not have a die for it. So this is fussy cut out. And you know, I just took my pair of scissors and cut it out. So I didn't want to have you watch me do that. But what I did do before I stuck it on my box is I wanted it to show up a little better, the black. So I just took and I just highlighted all the way around this. Wherever I cut, there might be a little piece of white that shows, and I just wanted to crisp it up. So I took a little piece of, or I took a black marker and just crisped all the edges before I stuck it down. Okay. So now that's done. We're just going to adhere the bunny to the box and we're all done. So I am going to add a little bit of glitter glue to this because I want to get up here in his whiskers. Whoops. I took the tip off and I shouldn't have. I should have just taken the pin out. I'm going to have to spread that around. I just wanted a little bit on his whiskers. A little around his face. On his ears. And we're going to stick that to the front of the box. I want it, maybe about right there and over the grass. It won't matter because you're not folding this down and putting it in an envelope if his ears stick up just a tiny bit above the top of the box. Then I'm going to do the little somebody loves. Ooh. Got carried away with the glue there. Just a sec, let me wipe that off. So much for less mess with the glue. Glue that up and stick it wherever you think it looks good. So there's your little project finished. I showed you a little coloring and how to make a box. Let me show you a little bit about the Kleenexes. I just went and got these mini Kleenexes, but don't do what I did. This particular set opens up on the side instead of opens up the top on the top. So when you go to purchase these, make sure they have an opening in the top so that when you open this up and slide it in, you have an opening there through your oval. Well, I thought that was a cute little Easter project. Thank you, May, and I hope you guys enjoy this and make it for your friends. Thank you very much. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you.